It's time for the UNX News. Extraterrestrials, time anomalies, dimensions, remote viewing, UFOs, UAPs, and USOs, ghostly encounters, abductions, Bigfoot, and more. Your end of the week news source for everything unexplained. Here is your host for the UNX News Podcast, Margie K.
Good evening and welcome to UNX News. I'm your host, Margie K. We are here every Friday evening at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Tonight, I have a couple of very special guests. This is a big deal. UNX Media just produced and just published this book. And oh gosh, all of my nothing is working today. Not that one. Well, we did just publish that one. As a matter of fact, let me just show that. If you want to get a book that I wrote along with Violet Wisdom, How to Research a Haunted House, this is a one of a kind. I think you'll find it interesting if you're into that sort of thing. But tonight, we are going to be talking about this book. And this is one of absolutely the biggest deals that as far as ufology goes. This is huge. This is a groundbreaking new book. It's called Incident in Varginha, Space Creatures in the South of Minas. And the author unveils one of Brazil's most astonishing and bewildering cases of alleged extraterrestrial encounters. In January of 1996, in the quiet city of Varginha in South Minas in Brazil, it became the focus of global attention when three young women encountered a strange, terrified creature in a vacant lot. Vitorio Pacaccini is an Italian-Brazilian who spent much of his childhood and adolescence in the state of, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Minas Gerais, Brazil, which may not be correct. He has an MBA in business administration and engineering, civil and industrial project management. Vitorio worked over 18 years at the Civil Investigation Center for Unidentified Aerial Objects, which is the oldest field research group in Brazil and has the largest UFO collection in the country. Also, Fernanda Pires is a UFO researcher and director of MUFON Canada. She interacted with Vitorio to bring the facts and elements of this case to the world's attention. Welcome to the program.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Vitorio and Fernanda. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. And thank you for putting together this very important work. Vitorio, can you start at the beginning and tell us how you got involved in this case?
Okay. First of all, once again, it's a pleasure to be with all of you today, right now. I have been studying UFO since long time ago. And when I was in university, one of my teachers, Professor Uvio, who was a great UFO researcher in Brazil. He is the founder of Sicoani, an oldest group also in Brazil. And I had the chance to meet him. He was one of my teachers in university. And as soon as I got to know that he was involved with the UFO research, we started these conversations very often. And in a certain day, he invited me to go in one of the expeditions, the field expeditions with the group. So it was amazing. I joined the group, and when the three girls, Liliane, Valkyria, and Katia, the chance to expose to the press what happened to them in January the 20th. I was in Belo Horizonte City, which is the capital of Minas Gerais State. It's the second more important state in Brazil, right after São Paulo State. So it's about 300 kilometers away from Belo Horizonte to Varginha. But since I have spent some time in the neighbor city, which is Three Hearts, Três Corações. By the way, Três Corações is a city where the famous soccer player, the king of soccer, Pelé, was born. In Três Corações, it's only 25 kilometers, about 12 miles away from Varginha. My mother used to live there. So I returned to Três Corações to start the investigations. I stayed in my mother's home and used to travel back and forth every day to Varginha to start the investigation. It was back in 1996 when everything started. And I had a great advantage at that time because the largest military base in the whole South Minas Gerais State is located in Três Corações City. You can say Three Hearts if it makes it easier. Three Hearts City.
Mm-hmm.
The largest is ESA, is the huge infantry battalion. Okay, 5,000 people in there. And many of my friends, since long ago when I was, in school, primary school, became militaries in ESA, Escola de Sargentos das Armas. Okay, it's the sergeant school. It's the best sergeant school in the whole Latin America. As you must have heard sometime, the sergeant is the connection between the high command and the soldiers.
Right.
So if you don't have good sergeants, you don't have a good defense group of military in general. So Brazil has invested strongly to form and to train the sergeants. Brazil learned this with the United States because we fought together against the Germans in Second World War. Basically, Brazil went to Italy to defend Italy in Montese and Monte Castello. And we kicked the Germans out of there. So in this contact with the American troops, with the American colleagues, if I can put it this way, Brazil decided to create the best sergeant battalion in South Minas Gerais, strategically located in Três Corações, Three Hearts City. Many of my friends, when I was a kid, became militaries in ESA, in this big infantry battalion. So when I returned to Três Corações, Three Hearts, I started investigating the whole Varginha case. But before doing that, I made some phone calls and called my friends from a long time ago and asked for help. And that was a turning point when my friends came up with very important information that helped me to understand what really happened, besides the fact that the three girls, Katia, Liliane, Valkyria, had sighted that strange creature that we understand is an extraterrestrial creature. It doesn't belong to our planet. That was the beginning.
And are these the three girls?
Yeah, okay, two of them. Okay, the first one on the left is Liliane. She was 16 years old back in 1996. Right by her side is her sister, Valkyria. She was 14 years old at that time. And right to the right part of the picture is Mrs. Luisa Silva, their mother. This was the day, right, the next day when the men in black knocked at that door to ask them to be silenced and tried to bribe them. And they didn't accept any bribery.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That was the time.
Mm-hmm. Let's go to you, Fernanda. How did you get involved in this case?
Everything happened when I was invited to do the documentary with James Fox in 2021. And I met Vitório Pacaccini in 2022 when I promoted MUFON Canada first live video. Then we started to talk about doing this potential international book about the case, Varginha case. And I started to do my own research to find a book publisher. And gratefully, I met you, Margie K, through our MUFON international meetings. And I'm very grateful for you. Thank you so much, Margie.
This was such a thrilling prospect, I couldn't turn it down. This is, I knew about the case. It's one of the biggest cases ever, but everybody doesn't know about this, and they need to. So I think, of course, the documentary film by James Fox was big. This is big too. Having the book with all of the details, and Vitorio, you go into extreme detail, and it's also an extremely well documented case, one of the best, I believe, that I've ever seen. And I've been doing UFO investigations for over 40 years. This is one of the best. During your investigation, what was the most compelling evidence or testimony that convinced you of the extraterrestrial nature of the events in Varginha?
Well, the most compelling evidence during my investigation was the testimony of military personnel directly involved in the capture and transport of the beings. They described the creature as having an otherworldly appearance, slimy brown skin, large red eyes, and emitting a sulfur-like odor. Their accounts aligned perfectly with what the three girls witnessed in Jardim Deri district. Additionally, the swift and highly coordinated military operation, including the transportation of the beings to Campinas City, São Paulo State, and eventually to the United States, raised questions no terrestrial event could explain. The secrecy the physical evidence of strange tracks at the site, and the involvement of credible witnesses left no doubt in my mind that we were dealing with extraterrestrial phenomenon.
And this was really a big deal, and the media covered this quite heavily. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, let me tell you, in this picture, I was given this little conference in Varginha City because the most important TV networks were all there waiting for informations, because it was already understood that we were dealing with the biggest UFO case in Brazil. So I had the media trying to contact me by phone. At that time, email was beginning in Brazil, but also through email and radios, FM radios and TV networks. It was just crazy. So I tried to attend to all of them. And I have been part of many documentaries, Discovery Channel, and many other TV channels from Japan, China, South Korea, United States, mostly United States, Europe, and many other countries in South America. It was just a huge turbulence in my life trying to respond to so many questions. But honestly, I think I did what was possible, and I kept the media very well informed.
Well, obviously you did, because you got a lot of attention, and well deserved as well. Who is this with you?
This is the fantastic scientist from Harvard, Dr. John Mack, psychologist. Dr. John Mack came from Harvard to meet me and the three girls. I had the opportunity to, at that time, he was interviewing the girls, and I didn't interfere. I just made the translation, Portuguese into English and vice versa. Mm-hmm. And it was a tremendous, fantastic opportunity, because after all his work with us, Dr. Mack said that he would risk his Harvard diploma if the girls were not telling the truth. So once again, I had meetings with the media and said, if you had any doubt, after all I have explained, please go to Harvard to meet Dr. John Mack, because he is now just confirming everything that I have been telling you, that the girls are telling the truth. So it was a very important moment in our research when we had the pleasure to have one of the greatest scientists in ufology field, Dr. John Mack from Harvard School.
Did the girls have a psychological evaluation?
Yes, they had, privately. I remember when because the press, you should see at that, when that picture that you just showed our audience was inside the girls' house. The media was completely, they were outside the house trying to get in. The street was completely crowded with people from radios, TV networks, everybody, newspapers. And Dr. Mack, I remember when he said, Paccacini, please keep the media out. Don't let anyone inside here. I'm going to have a private consultation with the girls. I said, okay, doctor. I went outside, asked them, please, we need at least 1 hour so Dr. Mack can talk to the girls. Could you please wait for us? Okay, I'll have to lock the gate here, but wait for me. Okay, I'll give you attention as I always do. Just please wait a minute. So I came inside to help with the translation, and right after that, we opened the gate, the house gate, and everybody was there with the cameras and people and flashes. It was a very important moment, and having Dr. John Mack by our side was definitely a moment that we won't ever forget. It brought a lot of credibility to our investigation.
Were there any other civilians who had sightings of that nature?
Well, we had not only the three girls, but Mrs. Terezinha Klepp, who was in this restaurant inside the zoo They have this little restaurant where people can have little celebrations. Sometimes it's a birthday celebration or some company who wants to celebrate, Christmas. They have this little restaurant inside the zoo so they can make money to help to maintain the zoo. Okay, they rent the space. Mrs. Terezinha Clapton was there some weeks later from the girl's first sight. And she went to the pantry, not to the pantry, to the external area of the restaurant to smoke a cigarette. She didn't want to bother people with smoke. And as she sat down in this external area, one of these creatures were just, I'm trying to find the image here in my book. By the way, this is the first book I published in 1996, Varginha Incident. And Mrs. Terezinha Clapp just met one of these creatures was there is staring at her for almost 5 minutes. She light up the cigarette, okay? But she couldn't drag it. The cigarette kept burning, and burned her fingers, and she couldn't smoke it because she was just in panic with that creature, okay, standing outside the guardrail of this external area, staring at her. So we had, besides the girls, we had Mrs. Terezinha Clapp, and her testimony was just amazing and very important. Okay, that image is in
a normal reaction, freezing like that. That happens when people are just so shocked at what they're seeing that they can't move.
She was taken by surprise. She wasn't expecting to see such ugly creature that she described later on. For her, it was the devil, because it was so horrible with those big red eyes, at least 3 times bigger than ours. Okay, that little slit as a mouth. That's it. And that's the creature. And this creature in particular had a small helmet, golden helmet on the top of his head, which was very different from the creature that the girls first encountered, because this one had no helmet. So we understand that this helmet probably was some kind of communication equipment that was helping that creature in the zoo to communicate with his fellows, with his friends somewhere, probably in other spacecraft, somewhere near the South Minas Gerais State, or probably on the orbit of planet Earth. But that's what we understand, why this creature would have a helmet, probably to help the creature to communicate with its partners.
Well, we're up on a short break, and when we come back, we're going to get into more detail about this absolutely fascinating case. There aren't very many like this. This is highly unusual. It's one of the biggest cases and most well-documented cases. We are going to take a short break, and we'll be back right after this. Are you thinking about purchasing a wood-fired heating or cooking appliance but don't know where to start? The new book, Wood-Fired Heating and Cooking, will guide you through the process and make the decision much easier. Find out about wood stoves, wood-burning fireplace inserts, masonry heaters, cook stoves, brick ovens, and more. Learn about operation and maintenance, buying and storing wood, even how to make your own charcoal. A bonus section includes delicious recipes for cooking in a wood-burning oven, grill, tandoori oven, or smoker. The wise homeowner, prepper, or homesteader will have the ability to heat their home with wood when the power goes out, or to save money on increasing gas bills. Wood-fired heating and cooking is available at Amazon. Visit www.woodfiredpub.com for more information. That's woodfiredpub.com.
Tickets are now on sale for Rebels of Disclosure 2025, May 12th through the 15th in Grafton, Illinois at the beautiful Pierre Marquette Lodge and Conference Center. This will be a 4-day event with 12 speakers covering topics such as ET contact, experiencer testimonies, lost history, secret space programs, time travel, Illuminati, parallel realities, and so much more. Visit journeytotruth.online for more details.
The UNX Network classes and workshops are enrolling now for 2025. If you're interested in psychic protection, chakra balancing, dowsing, or perhaps healing with sound and music, visit unxnetwork.com to see our complete series of live and on-demand classes and workshops hosted by the one and only Margie K. For example, in January 2025, you could spend 4 Saturdays with Margie for her exclusive live remote viewing workshop. Margie K is one of the most accomplished remote viewers in the world, and she will share her secrets and totally unique methods in this course. Some courses are open now. Seating is limited for these live courses, so register now at unxnetwork.com. UNX members use promo code XMEM for an additional 15% discount.
And we're back with the next news. I'm your host, Margie K, and we are speaking with Vitorio Pacaccini and Fernanda Perez this evening. And Vitorio is holding up a picture, which was a drawing involving where this woman saw a creature at the zoo, which is kind of strange. And that's the one that had the helmet on. And what was her name?
Mrs. Terezinha Clef.
Okay, Mrs. Clef.
Yes.
So you did the initial investigation, and then you went back in 2023, correct?
Yes.
Was that for the documentary film?
No. I decided, because I had so many problems. I also was threatened by, a lot of phone calls, my email. I had many problems. They tried to kill me on the road between Três Corações and Belo Horizonte, the capital of Minas Gerais, 3 times.
Oh my!
I got shot. Okay, my car's bumper, the real side of my car, the holes were there, and they also shot the main door of our living room in Três Corações.
Wow!
So I had many problems, and I decided to just, if I can put it away, I just decided to fade away. I took my mother out of town, and I decided to disappear. I disappeared for almost 20 years. I decided to come back for the inauguration of the Varginha UFO Museum, which is the most, that's the one. It's a huge flying saucer on the top of a mountain where you can see the whole city from up there. And they were just crazy looking for me to be there at that day, along with the authorities, the mayor, and the city council, everybody. So I decided that it was time for me to show up again. When I was there for the inauguration was exactly the time, that moment of contact co-produced by Fernanda Pires, my great friend and partner, was presented to the public. So we had in the same event the opportunity. That's Fernanda Pires with James Fox in Virginia. And that picture, they were trying to talk to a military person who was with Marco Eli Scerezi when they captured the creature that the three girls just had encountered. His Lopez, okay? He was in the car with Marco Eli Scerezi, and they were trying to convince him to give an interview. And this guy Lopez, Eric Lopez, threatened them if they just don't disappear from his view immediately. He was trying to grab his gun and shoot them. Okay, it is in the Moment of Contact documentary. You can watch him saying exactly those words: "Get out of here, or bullets will start flying." So Fernanda, who was a translator, because James Fox was there, what he said, and Fernanda was so shocked that he said, "Let's get out of here because he's going to shoot us." Is it? You can see this. You can watch this.
Oh, yeah, I've seen the film. It's a very, very good film, by the way. Let me switch over to Fernanda for just a minute. What was it like working on that film?
It was quite a good experience, Margie. I'm very grateful that we did it. And when that specific moment with Eric Lopez, I'm going to talk about him a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It was the military driving the car on the night of January 20th, 1996, when his passenger and colleague, Marco Eli Scerezi, captured a creature with his bare hands. After this, Scerezi got a high fever, and he began complaining about of a severe pain. So they took him to the hospital intensive care unit, and the doctors could not find what he had. They started saying that it was an unknown infection. So, unfortunately, Scerezi died from a general unknown infection. And we mentioned this in our book, as we know, and we give more details. People need to buy the book. So even today, it's been 29 years, and they don't know what happened to Marco Eli Scerezi.
Do people assume that it was because he came in contact with the creature?
Exactly.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Although the cause of this infection was never clarified. Never. It's been 29 years.
I wonder if any biological samples were taken, perhaps of blood or something that could be analyzed now. Is that possible? Vitorio, do you think that would be possible?
Go ahead.
No, because at that time they tried to hide the truth. Okay, the family didn't have any access to the exams, to the lab exams. They didn't have any access, and also they were told to make the funeral immediately, not even to open the
casket.
The casket. And they was scared because, they lived the military life together with
Wow.
Marco Lee Scherezi. They know how things are strict. And they just follow the orders. So it took almost 1 year for Cherezi's older sister, Marta, to get her hands on the blood exam and everything that was possible. Almost 1 year later. And as Fernanda Pires just told you, it was not conclusive. So what really infected Marco Lee Scherezi was an unknown toxic substance. They couldn't classify it. So, but we know that he was involved, that he was there. He grabbed with his bare hands one of the creature. Exactly, it was in the beginning of the night of that January the 20th. It was a Saturday. It was the creature that the girls just encountered earlier, about 3:30 p.m. This creature was just in the middle of that little forest. And Marco Lee Scherezi, who belonged to the secret police of Virginia, okay, the military police secret service, he was the best. Everybody knows it, okay? He was the best soldier in the whole police of Virginia. And he had this demand to go with Eric Lopez, who was a corporal at that time, both of them in secrecy to Jardim Andere district, and right around inside that little forest out there, okay? It was a part of the district, had no pavimentation, had no asphalt, no lights, because it was in the very beginning of that specific, in the formation of that specific district in Virginia. So we had a lot of tall grass and trees, a little forest. They got in there, and the creature went running from the car. They stopped the car. Marco Lee Scherezi got out of the car and grabbed the creature. Okay, he was very competent. He didn't hesitate. But at that point, it was his death sentence, because the creature transferred to his system some element, not identifiable element, that just shut down his immune system. And he went to the hospital, didn't react to the best antibiotics at that time. They gave him the best treatment as possible. And he got worse and worse. And finally he died. And there came the police officials to say, no funeral, don't open the casket, and we are very sorry.
And he was a healthy soldier, a very healthy
Yes,
soldier.
23 years old, very healthy, and the best soldier in the military secret service of Virginia.
So
it was a scandal.
How was the military involved? You mentioned MIBs. Was the United States involved in this? How does that go?
Well, how can I say? The Brazilian military, particularly the ESA, okay, the Sergeant School, played a central role in the operation. They coordinated the capture and removal of the extraterrestrial beings from Virginia with precision and secrecy. Eyewitness accounts reveal that the military trucks and personnel quickly secured the areas. Fernanda knows all about it because Fernanda was there with James Fox, removing the creatures and debris under tight control. The secrecy, however, was deeply troubling. Even local authorities, such as the mayor and the city council, were left in the dark. I believe the secrecy hindered a broader understanding and denied both the scientific community and the public to the opportunity to analyze and learn from this historic event. Instead, it created an environment of mistrust and speculation that persists to this day.
In your recent visit, did you find that there were a lot of people still living there that knew about this? And did they willingly speak with you? Did you find any new witnesses to this case?
Yes, I have been in touch with many witnesses secretly, because most of them are afraid of the militaries, because the militaries declared that was a national security operation. And if someone breaks the secrecy, you have a law problem. So many of the witnesses are very preoccupied in coming forward to give any statement, because they know they will face a lawsuit from the militaries, as I had suffered. Okay, I was in 1997. They sent me a letter inviting me, if I can put it this way, to go to the headquarters of the military forces in Brazil, and I was interrogated for 4 hours.
Wow.
They wanted to incriminate me right after publishing my book back in 1996, and this happened in 1997, 1 year after I had published my book. And they wanted to somehow to sue me because I was revealing national security information. I stayed there for 4 hours with my lawyer. And at the end of everything, I didn't tell them anything. They couldn't get any information, not even about my military insiders, because it would be impossible for me to know everything I knew if I didn't have insiders helping me. So I have been working with my witnesses ever since. And I can tell you, we now know that even pictures and videos of these creatures are in hands of civilians. James Fox is almost going nuts knowing that there are pictures and videos of these creatures also in civilian hands. James Fox also offered $220,000 for someone to step ahead and give him one of the videos, but no one had courage for that. So we are in a very important moment, I think, after 29 years, and Fernanda knows it very well. Okay, Fernanda is the most important researcher outside Brazil. She is the one who knows more about Varginha than anybody else outside Brazil, and even in Brazil. He is my partner. He knows everything. She knows everything. But we are right now, after 29 years, in this very important moment. I can tell you a picture or a video of one of these creatures will be on some TV network pretty soon. I don't know if you'll be through the hands of James Fox or through my hands or Fernanda's hands, but we are on the verge of having this. And I have been telling people, it's time, let's move on. Don't be afraid, just give the video to me. And I'll face the militaries, and as I have been doing this for over 29 years.
Yeah, without revealing your source.
Yes.
That way the person is protected. And, and with you being out there and having your face out there, and especially with this new book, giving it more attention, the chances of somebody taking you out is less, I will say. Just generally speaking, knowing about all the UFO researchers, in the past, some that I've known personally, some have been threatened. John Mack, in fact, it's questionable about his death. Dr. Roger Lear, questionable about his death. But being more public about it seems to be safer. Are you of the opinion that that is the case?
Yes, I think, well, I have survived over 29 years, and I have been taking all the security measures to still be here with you and everybody. So I think if they really wanted to bring me out of the game, they would have done it before. They tried, but they didn't succeed. Okay. And but once again, I think we are on the verge of having something very important. Definitely. Okay. It's a ocean divider, as we say in Portuguese. Okay. I know perhaps it doesn't make sense in the United States, but we are very close to this possibility, because the pictures and videos that were in the hands of somebody else are now in the hands of their grandsons and granddaughters, with a different mind, different view of the UFO events.
Right.
So in the modern world that we live now, considering that we are all free citizens, so it's very possible.
And you saw a 5-second video of the creature.
Oh, you did? Oh, you saw it. Okay. How did that make you feel? Were you shocked when you saw it?
It's a cold thing going down my spine. It was in 2012. Friends of mine from the military armed forces, as a gift, because of a whole investigation I have been doing, and because I kept secrecy about their identities, nobody ever touched them. Okay? So all of a sudden, a messenger, somebody came to me and said, they want to show you something. You won't be allowed to keep a copy, but you will see from a laptop 35 seconds of the creature. Do you want to see? Yes or no? I said, yes, for the rest of my life, of course. So we had this secret meeting in a very isolated area at night. And there it was. It is exactly the same creature that the 3 girls and Mrs. Terezinha clapped, and even the militaries that helped me back in 1996 have described. So I almost had a stroke. Okay, that cold thing came down my spine. I said, "My goodness, I know I'm watching a laptop. I asked to watch for 5 times. Okay, for 5 times. I said, "My gosh, let me take a deep breath and see it again." I said, "My goodness, I'm right in front of an extraterrestrial creature, because I can tell you that thing does not belong to our planet." Okay, there's no way you can confuse that creature with any animal. It doesn't exist. It has those 3 protuberances on the top of the forehead, those big red eyes. It was brown, dark brown. That's it. That's the creature. Okay, and it was.
Let me clarify. This is a digital reconstruction, correct?
Yes, I did it.
You did it. Okay. So it's not an actual picture of it, but it's digital.
But it's very close.
Of what you saw. And
Yes,
Fernanda, what was your reaction when you saw the video? Did you hear me, Fernanda?
I didn't see the video.
Oh, I thought you did. I thought you saw it at the same time.
No,
Okay.
I actually saw the video, 35-second video of the creature.
I was allowed to watch
Okay.
this video
Okay, wow.
because it came from my friends, my childhood friends
Yeah.
that became militaries. Okay, they had this this idea of giving me this unique chance because they knew if they didn't show me, I wouldn't have at that time in 2012 the opportunity to actually see one of those creatures.
Mhm.
And I can tell you, it's just an amazing experience. I won't ever forget it. And if I can thank God for everything, I would like to include the unique chance I had in my life to see an extraterrestrial creature right in front of me through that laptop. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was in a military installation. The militaries were holding the creature. Each one of the militaries holding each one of the arms of this creature, very tiny little creature. I would say 1 meter and 20 centimeters, and he was close to the death because he hardly couldn't stand up. The militaries were supporting the creature to make it stand up, but it was so bad, so ill, that for me it was close to the death. So they decided to make that film without superior authorization because they knew the creature, the debris of the spacecraft were going to the United States and would disappear. So somebody grabbed this camera, VHS camera at that time, and made this unauthorized video that was kept in secrecy for many years. And then finally in 2012, they let me see it. It was like a gift to me for the whole contribution without letting anyone know about their identities. I protect all of my military witnesses. So it was a gift.
Oh.
I was blessed. That's the truth.
Yeah. And that sort of thing changes your entire life when you realize
forever
there are
Margie.
Other things out there, not just human beings. There is other intelligent life.
Mhm.
Was there ever a craft seen or recovered?
Well, no, because the militaries decided, since I was going to the press all the time to tell the news in my investigation, they imposed silence everywhere. The operations, most of the operations, they decided to do it at night. The recovery of that cylinder-shaped UFO was made at night. Okay, they took big trucks to remove it, and big trucks and cranes, all the military equipment, they lift it up and put it on the back of a truck, one of those big trucks, and flat back. You must perhaps understand what I'm saying, where you carry even a caterpillar equipment in the back of those flat back trucks. And they took it in the rural area of Virginia. That's the UFO. It looks like a Tic Tac.
Yeah, it looks exactly like a Tic Tac.
Okay, the militaries recovered it at night, and it didn't explode in many pieces. Because it didn't hit the ground with major velocity. It was flying low and slowly, as it was seen by the couple, Eurico and Oralina. It is very well described, all the situation in our book, okay? They watched this tic-tac UFO for almost 40 minutes flying over a field, okay? About 10 feet above the ground, right in front of that house in rural area, very close to Virginia, about 4 to 5 miles away from Virginia. So it was there with that white smoke coming from the back of the UFO, showing, giving the impression that the object was damaged somehow and wouldn't sustain the flight for very long. So it passed flying low and slowly in front of Eurico and Oralina's house in rural area towards Virginia. When it touched the ground, the militaries recovered everything. Okay, it was their mission. At that time, nobody knew anything about COVID-19, but they were very worried about having some sort of contamination, because they knew Marco Elischerezi had already been contaminated and died.
Right.
So they moved.
Vitorio, we are unfortunately out of time for this evening. We're going to have both of you come back sometime where we can spend a couple of hours. This has been fascinating. The book, Incident at Varginha, Space Creatures in the South of Minas, second edition, in English, by Vitorio Pacaccini and Fernanda Perez. Thank you both so much for being on the program with me this evening, and we will definitely be in touch. The book is available at Amazon.com. So it went live on the 22nd, so go get a copy of the book and read it. You will not be disappointed. Thank you so much. See you again.
Thank you, Margie, Fernanda, everybody. Thank you. See you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.